So today we're going to do a topic called spirit guide messages. So you may want to meditate, do tapping, light incense, go for a walk. Just a moment. You may want to make art, do breath work, do cleaning, whatever it is that gets you to feel oneness, centered, wholeness, peaceful. Body scan, a group therapy, music, dancing, singing, sketching, tweezing hairs from your face with a close-up mirror, gazing into someone's eyes. Whatever you feel gets you in touch, what we call inspired. Some people feel that they only feel inspired when they have a muse or when they're in nature. Others might say when they close their eyes and focus on the space within, their spirit comes in, or when they learn spiritual teaching. So each one is a judge of each one's own capacity, and we do our best and God does the rest, right? So I sometimes think of our spirit as the glue between our soul and our body, our energy, our soul and our energy. We have energy that's in our body, and then we have a spirit that glues the soul in. So the spirit guide message is how we connect not to others' energy. We're not picking up their energy, and we're not literally becoming impregnated with their soul, but it's their spirit. So the spirit of that person is what was the glue that kept their soul to their body. So it could be something that's not so personal to them like their soul, and yet not so general that it's just like energy. So spirit to me is something like where it's not 100% unique, but it's something that they've become so connected with that they could carry that message the same way that they could carry the soul into the body, in other words. So I'll share some. Now, I'm going to tell you in advance that a lot of these you may not recognize if you're not familiar with Jewish Torah, because a lot of them can be found in the Torah or in Chabad culture. Even if you're familiar with the Torah, but you're not familiar with the Lubavitch Hasidic lineage, you may be unable to recognize them, or in the prophets or the writings. So we'll see how it goes. So the Alter Rebbe, which was the founder of the Chabad movement. So these are from different times. I've collected them where I have felt that I received a spirit guide message, that this was a guidance. I'm not saying that their soul communicated with my soul, and I'm not saying that I received energy from them. I'm saying that I felt that they could carry a message of frequency, like the spirit could carry energy. A spirit can carry energy. Versus something that emits energy, a spirit can carry energy. If it's carrying energy, it could be beyond space and time. So you could have spirit guides. Soul is different, and energy is different. That's how I think of it. So the Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad movement, told me that my tears kosher me, like pure, like make me kosher, like make me pure, make me like consumable. Sarah, the mother of the Jewish people, Abraham's wife, said, "There's no one left to be and nothing left to acquire." Rivka, her daughter-in-law, the wife of Yitzchak, their son, Abraham and Sarah had a son, Rivka. She said to me, "Leave the past behind to restart living a new life." And Avraham, her father-in-law, Sarah's husband, told me, "Please," this is the founder of the Jewish people, the Islamic people, the Christian perversion of Judaism, "please the source by removing any distance or perceived threat." And his son with Sarah, Isaac, Yitzchak, told me, "Choose to love because loneliness is not personal." Yaakov, the son of Yitzchak and Rivka, told me, "If you don't look where you're going, you'll go where you're looking." And this actually came through a real guy named Yaakov. I felt he carried the message for me from the spirit of Yaakov. And Yaakov had four wives, but two of them were sisters, Rachel and Leah. Rachel told me, "Balance the desire for being committed 2 with the right to change. Leah said, new worlds of life splitting can never be undone. The Arizal stands for Rabbi Isaac Luria, but however, of blessed memory, but Arizal means the blessed, it means the Ari. He's called in short the Ari. Arizal means blessed memory. Ari is a lion. He was a Kabbalistic giant, a teacher, an authority, and a explorer. He left so much for us. His spirit left so much for us. He said, you'll outlive me, but quality of years is more than quantity. I think he died in his 30s. Chur, he was with Aaron, and they held up Moses' hands during the battle with the Amalek group that hated the Jews, hated them for no reason, came and picked on them literally came to attack them out of nowhere. They were not anywhere near their land. So Chur has an interesting story because, so he told me, one who judges is a dwelling for judgment, and he got killed for telling the Jews not to make an idol while Moses was for 40 days away. They thought he died. He wasn't eating or drinking. As far as they knew, he was actually on the mountain communing with God. He was receiving the code, the heavenly code to be inscribed in the tablets, and the law and the teaching and the Torah, really. And Chur tried to tell them, don't make this idol, just wait, and they killed him because they were so confused by some of the, we'll call them converts, but there was no Judaism yet because they were not officially the Jewish nation who received the Torah from God yet. However, they I'm sorry, that's not true. They were the Jewish nation, the Jewish people, and they had just received the Torah in form of the 10 Commandments, as far as I can remember. And then Moses went up to I can't remember now. It was this group called the Erev, the mixed multitude. They came with them from Egypt, and they convinced them when they could not see Moses that it was time to make a new idol to serve as the God. And in other words, not God of gods, not God, Hashem God, but rather that like a deity, like something to honor, to worship, to connect with in the physical world where we find ourselves. If Moses is not in the physical world, then they wanted to find something in the physical world to connect with, to bond with, something real to see. And they killed him. Moses came back with the tablets, and Joshua and him heard the sound from the camp, and they were celebrating. At first they thought it was maybe a war, and then they realized, no, it's not a victory. They're doing something horrible, and Moses broke the tablets. And he begged God to forgive the Jews, even though God would rather at that time choose Moses to continue a new nation. But Moses said, without the Jews, no, I don't want you to, start a new nation with me. I want you to forgive these people. And he said, take me out of your book if you don't forgive them. And God took him out of one portion, apparently. So that's Chur. Okay. Aaron, Moses' brother, you're consecrated now, my sweet. He was the high priest. And their sister, Miriam, who was a prophetess and a drummer. Tambourine or percussionist. She did the dance with the people, and they sang. She told me, good things come to those who wait. And whether you need to be faster or be slower, be present. Then we have Gavriel, the angel. Gabriel, keep working on self-control. You're doing great. And at that time, they built the Mishkan, the tabernacle. Bezalel was the main one. He was a grandson. As far as I can remember, he was actually, maybe he wasn't Pinchas was a grandson, I'm sorry, of Aaron. So Bezalel was related, and he was a artisan. Actually, he may not have been related, but he was able to fashion every which way. He could weave, he could handle the silver, the gold, the gems, everything. He was able to design and fashion the whole temple, the whole tabernacle. And everyone was under him, kind of. He was like the main one, and he had others with him. So he told me, great job, it's a masterpiece. Noach, we're in the parsha of Noach now, Noah from the flood, he said sometimes the path of least resistance is necessary. Now much later, and Moses, he said, let's joyously all go into the light together. And I think I remember there was like also a picture of everyone holding hands. Okay, later on there was David, King David, from the line of Judah. So Yaakov had a son, Jacob had 12 sons. One of them was Judah. And this, from this lineage, some generations later, was King David. King David said, I choose you for my queen, please be patient. And he took over Saul. Saul was the first king of Israel, who told me, actions and silence speak louder than words. Words consume, and what you consume consumes you. And then David actually came from a lineage where it included somebody called Ruth. Ruth was a convert from Moab. She told me, and she was a very special woman because she married someone much older than her, and her husband had died, and she came with her mother to choosing the God of the Jewish people, choosing the land of the Jewish people, the people of the people, the people of the Jewish nation. She became one. She and David came from her. She said, respect your elders and don't bite the hand that feeds you. There was a prophet, Ezekiel, at some point, who said, keep going forward. It's all going to be okay. Focus on that. And then regarding King David, and he had a son called Solomon, and who took over the throne, and who was given the throne, and he said to me, God took me when I was good for nothing and made me everything. And the king of David, his name was achiya Hashiloni. He said, you're going to live a long time. And he was also the teacher of the Baal Shem. The Baal Shem was the founder of the Hasidic movement, who brought about this newfound sort of obsession with the Messiah, with Mashiach. He told me, you're too powerful now to risk losing control of yourself. And he also told me, don't judge by name and form. Now he passed the lineage on to the Maggid of mezritch, who told me, treat everyone's time like it's more valuable than yours. And as you know, I told you that the Alter Rebbe was the founder of the Chabad movement. So that was the next teacher in the Chabad lineage. We have the Baal Shem Tov, then we have the Maggid, not accepted by everybody as the next lineage. Like the Baal Shem Tov wasn't even accepted by everybody. And then in their circles was Rebbe Zusha, who told me, you're going to make it out alive. And so going back, a couple hundred years maximum, a few hundred years, if you look back to we're talking, I think, I don't know exactly, I think we're talking late 1700s, and then the 1800s, like the Baal Shem Tov was the earlier 1700s, mid 1700s, about that time. So at that time you also had Rabbi Nachman, who was the Baal Shem Tov's great-grandson, I think. He told me, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, who started a different Hasidic movement than Chabad, he said, you're not bad, you're like an angel. And then we have in the Chabad lineage, and not too much of a different time, we have, close to these times, we have Chofetz Chaim, Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. He said, think about who is speaking when you talk. Now, in the Chabad lineage, there was the Lubavitcher Rebbe was the most recent one, the seventh one. He told me, you're my chassid and tzaddik forever. Chassid means you're the pious one, you choose to be connected. And tzaddik means somebody who is a righteous person. And his brother, I know his initials, I can't remember his name, he said, the Rayal, maybe Rabbi Yehuda Leah. He said, don't feel bad for giving others a chance to be right. Now, the wife of the Rebbe was Rebbetzin Chaya Mushka, and she told me, it can get lonely on the top, not a lot of people there, eh? And then, before the Lubavitcher Rebbe, there was frierdiker Rebbe, his father-in-law, Rebbetzin Chaya Mushka, I just mentioned her father. So his father-in-law was the previous Rebbe. He said, bring all of you into everything, do your best and most genuine. And then before him was the Rebbe Maharash, who said, the Rebbe Rashab, so remember there was 7 of these rabbis. So we have the Alter Rebbe, the one who transmitted from the Baal Shem to the Alter Rebbe was the Maggid. And again, not everybody went straight to Chabad, not everybody even went through the Maggid. But here we have, next, if you're going from the Chabad lineage, next you have the Alter Rebbe. And then you have the Mitteler Rebbe. The Mitteler Rebbe said the outer role may stay the same, but the inner role changes every day. And then the successor was the Tzemech Tzedek, who said the value of life is beyond all effort or price. And then his successor was the Rebbe Maharash, who said going inward is an infinite path. And then I just mentioned the Rebbe, the frierdiker Rebbe, his father-in-law, and then his predecessor, who was after the Rebbe Maharash, was the Rebbe Rashab, who said the truth is always permitted to be spoken, especially with kindness. Now, it looks like we've covered that section, but there is a few more people who I got messages from. There was the Baba Sali, who was a very contemporary holy person, a miracle worker. He said, he was at the time of the Baba Rebbe, he told me as a spirit guide, self-respect leads to interpersonal respect. Self-transgression leads to interpersonal transgression. And then we have the maharal, who's from Prague. He made the golem of Prague, with the names, with holy names and sounds, and there's special ways people say he made it. And he told me, don't be afraid to lick up every drop of truth and love and what's precious. And then go back further, and we get to Maimonides, the Rambam, and he told me, you had an additional spirit attached, now gone. And we have the writer of the Zohar, really the founder of that movement. He had hidden in the cave for many years, and then him and his son and his group learned Kabbalah, the mystical teachings of Judaism, esoteric. They called it like the paradise. There was like the straight, the hint, the illusion, and the secrets. And they went through even the secrets. And he said, keep looking to see more of you. And at the time of the Talmud, Gemara, Mishnah, all of this stuff is close to his time. And we have Rabbi Akiva, who was at 40 is when he first started learning Torah, and he said he felt okay to start learning as soon as he saw that the water dripped onto the rock, drip, 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 until the water finally actually structured the rock. And he said it's never too late to be a good Jew. And I think that's all for now that I have for you. And I recommend you practice inspirational, that you engage in inspirational practices and see if you have ways to connect with your spirit. All the best. Bye-bye.